And our second main topic today gets submitted to us by Rajan, who writes, The Rock unveiled the release date of Black Adam to be July 29th, 2022. This movie sets up a direct clash with the fifth Indiana Jones and adds on to the list of blockbuster movies for next July. Minions 2, Black Panther 2, Fantastic Beasts 3 being the others. What do you think of this movie? And do you think these movies will stick to their release dates, especially with Black Adam and Indiana Jones 5? Hashtag bring on the filthy. All right, thanks a lot for sending that in, man. And it is not an exaggeration to mention that we have been talking about Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson doing a Black Adam movie for 5 years. It's not an exaggeration to say that. We've been talking about it for 5 years. Since they announced it, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson says, there's going to be a new power hierarchy in the world of DC, says Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. 5 years. And then, a lot of promises along the way. Okay, we're going to get started, this year. No. This year we're going to get started. We totally swearsies. Pinky promise and everything. We're going to be starting this year. And then another year passed. No, now we're going to be starting. And then a pandemic hits. But it looks like it's actually really happening. It's actually happening. This comes to us from the folks over at MovieWeb who write, it's official. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson has taken over Times Square to reveal that the release date for Black Adam, just ahead of the UCLA versus Alabama NCAA tournament. By the way, UCLA won that game in a thriller ending to that game. Anyway, where were we? Oh, yes, NCAA tournament game on Sunday. Johnson appeared in a TV spot for Black Adam, revealing that the movie will be released on July 29th, 2022. So we finally got a release date, and Rob, they're actually going to get in front of the cameras, I believe, in the next couple of weeks. I believe they actually start rolling cameras in the next couple of weeks. So this thing is now actually happening. They're going to actually be shooting this thing. There are a bunch of question marks. Now, of course, Rob, we just talked the other day about the fact that Pierce Brosnan, the former James Bond, the former Remington Steele, is going to play Dr. Fate. I'm very excited about that. But this whole idea about this big showdown confrontation between Indiana Jones 5 and Black Adam comes with a lot of asterisks. Asterisk number 1. Yeah, let's see if Black Adam actually goes into production, because we've heard this song and dance about 5 times already. It actually does look like it's going to happen. Can it then go through a nice, clean production schedule and actually get everything shot without, COVID rearing its ugly head and delaying them more and all that kind of stuff? Things are looking good, but, we're not out of the woods yet. By the way, Iconic Reaction sends in a super chat badge in the live chat. Thank you, Iconic. So there is that. The other part of that equation, Rob, that is the even bigger question mark is, I don't believe for a hot second that Indiana Jones 5 is coming in July 29th of 2022. They've been talking about this for I've almost as long as maybe longer, that they've been talking about Black Adam. And I understand they've got a director attached now, same guy who directed Logan and did such a great job with that. But I think that's a huge question mark as to whether or not that actually happens. So I only put it at a 15 to 20% chance that we'll get to July 29th, 2022, and both of those movies are opening on the same day. But I would say this, if they do, Rob, look like they're heading in that trajectory, and that they are, let's for argument's sake say they're going to make their targets. One of them's got to move. Because they're just, while Indiana Jones is not a comic book movie, they appeal to a lot of the same demographics. And so I would just say one of them would probably have to budge. And I would say the movie that should move would probably be Indiana Jones. Except Disney doesn't like to move for other people. Although I think in this case, I think the right thing to do would be moving Indiana Jones. Anyway, Rob, a lot here to cover. Dwayne Johnson says they got a release date. They're starting to shoot this thing. It's supposedly opening up against Indiana Jones 5. What are your thoughts on all of this?
Well, like you said, I mean, can we believe in release dates anymore? I think I'm going to be gun shy about release dates for years to come, probably. But, I mean, we haven't even got out the movies that were supposed to come out a year ago. But I think, look, assuming we still have COVID cases running rampant around the world, Brazil's a mess, Germany's going into, more of lockdowns, even though We'll see. But I think that they've been able to, with COVID protocols that have been put in place, they've been able to do a production. There's things in production. And I think that they, like you said, I don't know about Indiana Jones 5, but I think Black Adam, I think they're going to do it this time. I think it's going to happen. After all, Black Adam is kind of a magical being, and it would be magic if this movie finally got made. I read something. It was originally announced in 2003.
Black Adam?
2003 or 4. Yeah. There was like a tweet, and somebody had put a picture of the very first time Dwayne Johnson was associated with a Black Adam movie was like in 2003 or 4. And I'm like, wow, really? That's insane. And because he looks like the Black Adam in Kingdom Come. So I always thought that was a great idea, but I guess, some dreams, John, they just endure. And I dream of one day next year seeing a real Black Adam movie.
Well, keep hope alive. But let me ask you this. Let's say the improbable happens, not impossible, but at this point, improbable. And let's say both Black Adam, everything goes according to plan. They're able to launch July 29th. Indiana Jones 5, miracles of miracles. They're actually able to get this thing going, and they hit that release date. What do you think? How does that get resolved? Do you think they just both open on the same day if they're able to? Do you think one moves? How do you think they're going to deal with that?
I mean, obviously they'd be cannibalizing each other's audiences. I think it's really going to depend on where movie theaters are. Are they going to be at full capacity? Because if they're not by then, I don't think that the box office would be able to support two major contenders like that. I think one would have to move, because otherwise, right now, look, the box office is on an uptick. We'll talk about that later, but it really depends on. If theaters are open at 100% capacity, why not? But if they're not, I think one of those movies is going to have to move.
All right, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this whole situation? I mean, they've got a release date for Black Adam now. They technically had release dates before, but it looks like it's actually happening this time. Will it hit that date? Will Indiana Jones 5? Will they go head to head? Will one of them move? How do you guys see this? Jump on down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. Okay, guys.